Hello everyone, well it's Mr. Gum and the Secret Hideout, Chapter 12. Clouds of sorrow, clouds of joy. The sherry factory had exploded, and Friday was hurled to the ground by the force of the conflagration. Something whizzed past his head. It was old Granny riding her cactus through the sky like a Mexican rocket. Alan, Taylor and Jake, the whopper dog, came somersaulting along after her in a rain of broken bricks and rubble. And behind them came, surprising Ben, covered in soot and coal dust. Surprise, surprise! I'm everywhere, he managed, and off he stumbled, floppy as a flannel. What happened? Said old Granny as she lay there on the stony ground. What? But then she remembered and was silent and still as a stone. Because looking back, she saw one of the saddest sights of her long and somewhat drunken life. She saw a sherry factory that would never make a single drop of sherry again. No, she whispered, clutching at her heart. It's not fair. Why, gods? But Friday and Alan Taylor were scanning the wreckage with horrified expressions on their faces. Where is she? Breathed Alan Taylor. I don't know if she made it, said Friday, turning his head from the flames. The truth is a lemon meringue, he said softly. And there, on the scorched grass, Friday O'Leary closed his eyes and wept hot, bitter tears. Alan Taylor staggered onto his back and hugged a couple of his vertebrae, which is as much as he was able to get his little arms around. And old Granny forgot about the sherry and joined them, and Jake lay down and whimpered softly. And there they sat, weeping and whimpering, mourning for Polly, even as the flames grew higher and higher. Higher and higher the flames grew until, hiya, said Polly. What you all crying about? Oh, you know, sniffed Friday. It is because you died in that explosion. Oh, said Polly. Oh, that is well sad. Do you mind if I join you? No, said old Granny. Be our guest. So Polly sat down on the grass, and together they all sat there crying and hugging and holding one another in their grief. And eventually Friday said, What is it like being dead, Polly? And Polly said, well, to be honest, Frides, I don't really feel all that different from being alive, really. Except everyone's crying more than usual. And then Alan Taylor, that biscuity genius, said, Maybe you're not dead after all. Oh, maybe I'm not, said Polly in astonishment. And then everyone realised at once, and it was more emotional than when Einstein came up with his theory of relativity. And tears of grief turned to tears of joy. Their sobs turned to laughter, and Jake's whimpers turned to barks of fun. And Friday turned to Polly and said, Look, Mr. Polly, the clouds are coming back. And it was true, for the flames from Finnegan's factory had reached high into the sky and had licked the poisonous gases away with their soft orange tongues, and the first glimmers of blue were beginning to creep back overhead. And yes, the clouds were coming back. With a sigh of relief, they uncurled and began to make themselves into the fluffy, wuffy little darlings they loved to be. Somewhere on a high-flung branch above them, a bluebird gave a joyful chirp, and all the mosquitoes and tarantulas died because it wasn't tropical anymore, but the parrots stayed alive. Because everyone loves parrots, and wouldn't it be a sad story if the parrots died? The world could breathe again. But hold on, said Friday suddenly. What about Mr. Gum and Billy? Everyone turned to look at the charred remains of the factory. The villains were nowhere to be seen. Nothing could have survived that, said old Granny. Except for you, of course, Polly. You got out fine. So, that's that then, said Polly quietly. Mr. Gum and Billy, gone forever. Oh, they were the worst crimers. Criminals, Mr. Polly. Yeah, that's it. They were the worst crimers what I ever saw in my life. And they never meant no good for no one. But you know what, Frides? It don't make me feel no happiness. No happiness at all. No one deserves that. Not even them two Johnny-come-latelys. Friday nodded wisely. Little miss, I am proud of you and your kindness towards those rotters, said he. But what's done is done, and what's not done is not done, and what's not yet to be done is not yet to be done, and what can't be done will never be done. And oh my goodness, look at my shoelace, it's come undone. And then Alan Taylor shook his head at the nonsense that was being spoken and simply said, We did what was right, Polly. It is the way of my people. And then old Granny said what she always said. I still can't believe the sherry factory's gone. What am I going to do for my sherry? Oh, well, never mind. And she took a sip of sherry from the emergency bottle she always kept hidden in Jake's fur, and it didn't taste of meat at all, and she wondered, could she drink gin from now on? Okay, well, that was Mr. Gum, The Secret Hideout, Chapter 11, with extra sneezing from my children. See you soon, everyone. Bye.